Johnny, if you're still in the background, can you flick us to there you go. So, Everett, your quarterbacks to avoid. Now, here's a controversial one: Jalen Hurts and the Vikings quarterbacks. Yeah, understandable, but Jalen
And
Hurts.
the reason, and this is for fantasy purposes. If you think Jalen Hurts is going to score like he did last season, the season before, you are sadly mistaken. They are missing the key piece, and was it Jason
Kelsey.
Kelsey's no longer there. No, they have Saquon Barkley, so they can hand off to him in goal line instances instead of trying to do the tush push. So it's going to be I don't know. They just added Jahan Dotson, so that's another receiver. Are they going to pass more? Probably not. But I don't see him getting the those red zone rushes unless it's a broken play. I just don't see him. I just see a lot of regression as far as touchdowns with the pieces they added. And then I mean, they have a lot of mouths to feed in Minnesota. I just know these guys are only going to be able to throw to Justin Jefferson, and I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings quarterbacks is totally understandable. I mean, who does want a part of that? Really, it's JJ McCarthy was the only piece you would really have even considered, and that's obviously he's gone now. So
Mhm.
this is kind of what you're stuck with. I mean, it's who is it that picked up Nick Mullins? I mean, Nick Mullins could be in, but Sam Darnold, as you say, he's got Jefferson, so he might do okay. But I wouldn't want a piece of those quarterbacks either. I've got to be
No,
honest. But and
even
Jalen
if it's
Hurts,
super flex, it'd have to be a push. Like I'd have to have Darnold to cover a bye week. That'd be the only way I want Darnold to cover a bye week if he's still the starter. Because
I
he's
mean,
had
yeah, that's the
flashes
thing.
of good games in Carolina. Like he's had good games, but we haven't seen that consistency from him. That's why I am out on the Minnesota Minnesota quarterback crew.
Not even for Superflex. I love it. And yeah, Jalen Hurts. I mean, I hear what you're saying. And he runs it. I'm certainly not taking him where he's going. That's for sure. He's getting picked up as sometimes the first quarterback, sometimes the second
Yeah.
quarterback. And yeah, I hear what you're saying. In fact, I do. I hear what you're saying so much that Johnny flipped the page. My two are Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson. Josh Allen. 4 years ago, Josh Allen was a quarterback one. 3 years ago, Josh Allen was a quarterback one. 2 years ago, Josh Allen was a quarterback two. Last year, Josh Allen was a quarterback one. Here's my prediction for this year: Josh Allen will not be in the top five of quarterbacks in
Oh.
fantasy football. Here, now, if you now don't get me wrong, if he finishes fifth, but see if you're picking him up as a quarterback one, the first quarterback off the board, and he is the fifth quarterback, the fifth best scoring quarterback, that's a loss. You lose, you know. So all I can see is regression for this team, this offense. I just, all I can see is Josh Allen. See last year, Josh Allen rushed 15 touchdowns last year. That's the first year he's ever done double digits. Everyone thinks he's this big mad rushing touchdown. That's the first year he's done double digits. He's done nine one other year. That's his second best ever. He does, and I see that being the same. I don't see that as them rushing in as many this year again. I only see regression for the team, and I see James Cook taking a lot of these touches at the goal line and stuff, from him. And yeah, it worries me that he's got no targets, and I'm not saying he's going to be a complete bust. If you look at the last the second half of the season as well, now this is don't get me wrong, I think Josh Allen's going to start the season very well because they've got five pretty easy games in the first five games.
Yeah.
But I think as the season goes on, he's going to regret. It's going to go backwards and I will be surprised if many champions come with Josh Allen at quarterback this year. There you go. I've said it here because I think come he's got some hard games in playoff time, and I worry that I worry for Josh Allen. Anthony Richardson. Now, here's the thing. I went with Daniels as my player to target. Daniels is going in the 10th round. Anthony Richardson is going in the 5th round. Okay? Jalen Daniels has played 55 games since leaving high school. Do you know how many games? How many games, Everett, do you think Anthony Richardson? How many games of football has Anthony Richardson played since he left high school? So
About 28.
17. He has played
Wow.
17 games of football since he left high school. Now I'm not saying Richardson is not going to be a fantastic quarterback. He's got a lot of attributes. I mean, his passer rating, his passing completion percentage is like lower than 50% since leaving high school in those 17 games. He's not got, if you take Pittman out of the equation, what's he got to throw to, really? Not a whole lot. He'll run the ball to death. Taylor will run the ball to death. But for this year, it worries me. And people are picking him up in the fifth round, and they're picking up Daniels in the 10th round. And Daniels is ready. I'm not convinced Richardson is just yet. And everyone's picking him up because they've seen him for 2 games last year and he done okay. And he done well and he run down a couple of touchdowns. But if you look at those 2 games as well, his passing wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. And I'm not. I've got him in a couple of dynasties. I've not got him in a single redraft because picking him up in the fifth round, there is far too
Yeah.
much risk. And I think you're picking him up there at his ceiling. I think
Yeah.
that's
And
as
then,
high as he can possibly be this season.
especially what me and you said with Kyler Murray, I mean, why draft Hurts? Why draft Allen? Why draft Richardson when you could pick up Kyler Murray a round or two later?
After them all. After them all. So it's yeah, and as I say, I'm not saying Josh Allen is a dud. I'm not nowhere near. I'm just saying if you draft him as a QB1 and he finishes as a QB5, that's a loss. And I don't think he's going to be the QB1 this year. I really don't. I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of
especially
good
you take
quarterbacks
you have to
knocking on
take
the
him in
door.
the first or second round to get Allen.
Exactly. That's it. And that's just not for me. So